It's gonna cool off mid-walk. We're gonna cool off this. We found this little roadside creek. Fresh. Oh my God. Oh look, it's a book bar. Oh. It's so refreshing. Whoa. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. It's Canada Day, July 1st, the founding of the glorious nation of Canada. I'm here with my sister, Sarah. Hello, say hello. And we're just walking. We're doing this thing called the Death March, Canada Day Death March. We're near my mother's cottage. And it's a 20-kilometer death march to this little old ice cream store. It's open in like in the 1860s. So we get like 7 gallons of ice cream, but we do this death march. It's very hilly. We walk the uphills, we run the downhills. So we'll show you if we survive. We'll show you when we get there. It's deep. Do you see the rapids up there?
Yeah, the water's clean, eh?
Oh yeah.
I am James ALOFS. I left the big city to build an off-grid homestead on 40 acres of Canadian wilderness. This area of Ontario has giant ridgelines, deep valleys, and pure rivers. Black bears, gray wolves, mountain lions, moose, and many forest spirits share the land. I started in November 2023. Starting with a modest 12 by 16 foot guest cabin, my goal is to build such a glorious homestead that I attract a magnificent wife, have 10 babies, and raise an Irish wolfhound. Welcome to Wild Homestead.
Ooga booga, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be the door sill. And you know, my old-timey cabin book, it says that it's ideal to have your sill kind of even with the top of your floor, because that way when you're sweeping at your cabin, it can just easily sweep out. For me, because I'm building the porch out here, I'm kind of like, I don't know, man. I'm trying to keep my doors small too, for the whole like Viking age. You know, people have to duck down so you can cut off their head kind of vibe, but also preserving heat. And I don't know, I just don't want to go too much lower. So we're going to switch gears here. Instead of finishing off the door first, we're going to go and help take down those giant 2 trees at the front of the property. There's a few more trees I got to take out too, because I got to work with my neighbor to finish the parking pad before the sawmill comes in. So that takes urgent priority, and it's probably going to take the rest of today, whatever we can eke out, and probably all of tomorrow. And then we'll get in the tractor and even it out, and then bring in the crushed gravel. So let's go. I'm kind of excited, kind of nervous about this. These, I think, the 2 biggest trees that we've attempted to fell here on Wild Homestead. It's the first one. It's completely dead, but he's huge. I don't know if you can see this. That's my hand. And this is the second guy. You can see the first one is right over there. Second guy, that's the parking pad. So we can't have him here. He is 3/4 of the way dead. I think the best route with this guy is to actually fell him directly into the parking pad, because then it's easy to chop him up. And I think he's kind of leaning in that direction. So this next guy is gonna be quite tricky because he's leaning this way. I don't know if you guys remember that aircraft cable that I had hanging over the build site in, what was it, January, February, with my SPQR flag flying on it. So that bad boy is still wrapped around that giant spruce. Remember this giant guy that I had? I got the drone stuck way at the top, and he was gonna crush this. So this cable is somewhere in and around there. Oh my goodness gracious. These are wild, either blackberries or raspberries. Got to make sure these plants, when we're weed whacking this field, don't take out those bushes. Those guys, maybe even replant them. Oh my God, look at that. We got one end, it's right at the end of the field. Oh my goodness gracious. That took about, I don't know, 20 minutes of just intense chainsawing of all these random limbs. But we are victorious, ladies and gentlemen. What a time to be alive! Wow, gasoline sprayed right in the eyes. Luckily, my bug net, I think, missed most of it. Only a little bit of stinging, but that is a crazy way to wake up in the morning. Cup of coffee or just spray some gasoline right in your eyeballs. Gonna have to get rid of this guy. That's how we're looking. I got about maybe 20 meters, 25 meters of driveway behind me. But you can see this is at least 12 feet wide everywhere. Got to take out these two stumps. But the approach, got to take out that stump. This tree I've decided to leave. It's actually healthier than I thought. When I first brought my pickup truck in here, I was shocked about how big vehicles actually are. I think, at least this much space is going to be needed for the vehicle. And I want to build with my sawmill a carport for the car. And then here I'm going to put the sawmill temporarily because it's going to be a whole epic journey trying to clear this driveway all the way back to the build site. Because this is, from this point, it's like 450 meters or 400 meters. It's a very, very long way back there. So this is going to be the temporary sawmill site. So I can kind of put it lengthways back there. And then I can be loading logs, skidding logs with the ATV to here and then loading them on. He's going to come by with his tractor. He's got the equivalent of like a John Deere 3 Series tractor. And we're going to see what we can do, with his bucket and trying to move these things, yank these things out.
So you've just got one clip that holds them in the rollers. Use either way it locks in.
You haven't lost them.
And then away you go.
Right.
All the gas is going to come out with that.
Right.
And then put new oil in it and stuff, and he'll be good to go. But
Right.
it's not uncommon, guys, forget the gas on. And then if you change the oil once, twice a year, you're pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just have a look at the oil. See.
Hey guys, so I'm just, I'm towing, for the first time towing something with my new truck. And you can see the sawmill back there, Norwood. It just feels so good, man. It feels like you're doing actual, legit, like hardcore. It's a real tool. Like the ATV is a tool, the truck is a tool, but the sawmill is the first real piece of like machinery, that you do stuff with. And it just feels so good to have these two machines, the truck and the sawmill. Oh man, just scaling things up. I went out onto the Homestead in November last year. I've never told anybody this, but with a used Toyota Prius with 150,000 kilometers on it. And I had a chainsaw and a used Toyota Prius. And man, I barely got through the winter with that thing just because of the reach. All you guys watching this channel, Norwood was willing to give me this beautiful sawmill. It's just such a great feeling. So I just can't thank you guys enough for watching, because you help me, you're helping me along this journey. Here she is, stacked up in storage here. It might be here for a few weeks until I get my driveway done. This is just at my Aunt Diane's. There we go. I think she's pretty well loaded down. I'm gonna come back for her soon. The key is taking out the tongue, the trailer tongue. I'm gonna bring this with me so that if someone did happen to come back here, which I don't think they will, this is a pretty secluded space. 8 Labrador guard dogs. Hello, boys. Hello. Hi. Hello. 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 Hi. Hello. Oh my goodness. Hello. 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 Good boys. Good boys. Good boys. Yes. Good boys and girls. Yes. Protect the sawmill. Thank you. Okay, folks, I've decided to take a big step and literally take this second log off down to the bottom log, just to attempt, like my old-timey cabin building book says, to try to have that bottom log even with the floor, so that when you're sweeping, you want to clean out your cabin, is there dirt, is there snow, whatever, you can sweep it right out. Because I was trying to sweep that out with this dustpan, and it's just a pain in the rear. So let's go ahead and cut this. It's kind of nerve-wracking because these two bottom logs, those are both 10 inches. Those are huge logs. So it's like if you cut it out, you can't go back. So we'll see. My only worry is can I still do my Viking chop off the head short door? Because this is going to take out another 7 inches. So there's going to be a bigger gap on top. If I knew I'd been taking this out, I wouldn't have taken out that top log. It's a really hot day today, and I was just looking over there. I'm like, I had the chainsaw in my hand. I'm like, let's just punch a little hole. Let's punch a little hole for air. So now I can actually see fully through to that back field over there. That whole wall of small trees got to take basically all the vegetation around this giant guy. Get the airflow, and then I need to punch. You see, look, you can see the wind is blowing over there, but that wall of trees, if I just even get a nice corridor popping out right there, that'll bring the breeze right back here. You see all the leaves on the trees. They're going crazy over there, but there's zero wind right here. Got to get these corridors going. So I've charged my electric chainsaw battery with this battery before, and I think it took about 40% of all the juice in it. Now, luckily, this thing charges really fast with that 200 watt panel out there. So, we'll see. I'll let you guys know though. So it's at 100% right now. How much juice does this? That's a 5 amp hour, 80 volt battery. How much juice it takes out of this Anchor Solux C1000. 100% on the battery. Moment of truth. How much juice did we use? Oh my goodness. So we used 42% to the battery to charge this sucker. There you go. It's the real deal. So it's 5 o'clock, right? Early July. Got some strong sun, but it is later in the day. And what do we got here? We got 150 watts being input and a recharge time of 3.2 hours. 3.6. That's not bad, guys. That's not bad with this 200 watt solar panel. That's not bad at all. Dude. Which way are you going? Which way are you going, buddy? This is not a very good place to sit. What the heck are you doing? Oh, Lord. Oh. Oh. Whoa. Whoa. Holy shit. Oh, my God. Dude. We're going to move him down the road a little bit. There you go, buddy. Whoa. Hey. There's a lake right over there. So good luck, dude. So I found him basically on the road right ahead here. But I just took him down this driveway. There's a small lake back in there. I figured that's where he probably may have came from or was going to. But he was right in the middle of the road, not pointed in either direction, right? Because usually when you come across a turtle, you just help it in the direction it's going. That was a common snapping turtle, by the way. They're found throughout North America. Very cool. Threatened, I believe, in this province. Check it out, guys. Look at that. Holy cowabunga. 2 neighbors, 2 tractors, both Mahindras. One with a backhoe, one with just a front loader bucket. But the entrance is curved. It's graded. It goes back to the pad there. You won't be able to see what's going on back there from the road, which is perfect. And the big thing was having the backhoe to get all these stumps out. Like there were 2 big gnarly stumps right there. You can't even tell there were stumps there anymore. So 2 of those guys, I was just standing by, intermittently jumping in, helping to grab logs, helping to spin stumps and whatnot. The main reason I'm doing this is for security. So right now, I mean, this trail has got a lot of work to go before I can get the sawmill all the way back to my build site, which I eventually want to do. But this way, with that parking pad, I can get the sawmill back into the property. I'm going to put up a farm gate, but you won't be able to see it from the road. And the critical thing is my truck, I'll always have the gate closed, whether I'm here or away. And then people will not be able to see my truck from the road. So the property that's at the very end of the road, it was completely ransacked last summer. It's an American couple that owns it. They only come up like once a year and use it. And some vandals got in there, completely ransacked the place, stole everything except for an old fridge that was their backup fridge in the cabin. And they, for some reason, flipped it upside down and just left it. But ransacked the whole place. Basically did everything except burning the place down. So there are vandals in the country. You never know when they're going to strike. It doesn't happen often where I am, but when it does, it's nasty. So being that kind of precaution, having a parking pad with a gate, and then people, if they're driving by, they can't tell whether you're home or not. I think it's a critical safety step I wanted to take right away. If the gods are good, and one day I'm able to get a tractor, then, you know, I'll be able to kind of maybe work this trail all the way back, get rid of all the stumps. The big thing is getting rid of those stumps, man. Just walking with my water. Something big spooked. I couldn't see, it was right there. Went crashing through the woods. I just saw a bear cub, the tail end of a bear cub, run across the road. When I was going to grab my water from my neighbor's well. Hey, bear. Hey, bear. Okay, now that we got these splines in the door, this is, I think, the hardest part of putting in the door as far as I can tell. Now, before I put in the frame and then put the door on, I want to finish doing the floor, because you see that it comes right up against where the door frame is going to be. So just get this finished and then can move forward and don't have to worry about it anymore. Whoa, the heck did that come from? Look at that. Holy cow. Shotgun. Dry, barely. This fan has been amazing. It gives just enough airflow, A, to keep it cooler in here, a few degrees cooler than outside, but also there's no bugs. My goodness gracious, oh my goodness gracious, ladies and gentlemen, we are here. Look at this. Check it out. Started at about 9 a.m. this morning. It is now 8:57 at night. Literally went all day on this. I think it's looking really good. So the big changes that were made, where you saw me the process, putting the Tyvek facing down, proper side down, stapled and then taped all around. That was super kind of finicky, but I'm glad that I did it. And then also putting in these cross braces throughout, as you know, I did properly on the loft floor. I had forgot to put those in. That's going to make the floor a lot stronger. I also trimmed all the insulation so that it fits snugly, but that it was not scrunching up. After some feedback from some people out there, the hardest one to trim, this was really hard to trim, was trimming the entire side lengths of that last bay, because that last bay is not 16 inches on center. These ones all are. This last bay is, I think there's only about 11 inches up there and 9 inches down there of gap. So it's a little off, or 11 to 10. But there she is. Now the last step. Okay, folks, it's about 10 a.m. So I was in town this morning. I was getting some more supplies for the door to finish off the door, which we're going to be doing today. But first, got to do the last step on the floor is put down the poly. Putting this coating, this layer on top of the floor is going to be really hard. This is like, you know that scene in Indiana Jones in The Last Crusade where he has to step on the tiles, and if he steps on the wrong spelling the name of God or the name of Jesus or something in Latin, remember, on the floor to get to the Holy Grail? This is exactly like that, because if I step into one of these bays, right, where the insulation is, if I misstep, my foot's going to go right through and it's going to punch the Tyvek and the hardware cloth down off the bottom of the floor, and it'll be almost impossible to repair it from up here. So I have to be so careful. This is going to be really, really tricky. The cross braces give a little bit more footholds, but this is going to be tricky, man. I could really screw this up. This could add on a whole 2 or 3 days of work if I end up breaking through this bottom barrier. Hi ho, hi ho. It's off to work we go. Looking good. I really like it. Just had made one hole over there. Just in case when you guys are doing this, I wouldn't have put all the staples in the middle, because anytime you get tension, I think it's got the chance to pop. I would have just stapled maybe around the outside to hold it in place while you're putting the tape. So this is airtight. Hopefully the bottom is airtight. The difference is that this is an impermeable membrane, right? Moisture cannot go through or above, but the bottom, the Tyvek, is breathable. So moisture can escape down at the bottom. So it seems that this is what the majority of the folks in the comments have been recommending, including there's one guy who was a Blue Seal carpenter, and he was pretty adamant that this is the way to go. So again, thank you so much. It's better to catch this mistake now instead of when the floor is full of mold and you have to replace the whole thing, right? So funnily enough though, my neighbor, he came by, he's a carpenter. I don't know if he's Blue Seal or not, he's accredited, but he looked at it. He's like, I'd actually go with what the first guys were saying. I would actually put the impermeable membrane on the bottom and leave the top open. So it's tough to tell, man. It's tough to tell. The fact that walls have the Tyvek on the outside and the poly on the impermeable poly on the inside, that gives me faith too that in fact this is the correct way to do it. Look at that thing, crisp and clean, nicely done. Feels good to have it done right, even though it took a long time. The final step in constructing a floor, of course, is the Kierkegaard crab walk floor test. I'm gonna do it right now. Let's see if it holds up. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you saw it with your own eyes. The floor held up very nicely to the Kierkegaard crab walk floor test. No bouncing, very solid. Looks like it'll be nice and robust. So for the second half of the floor, now that I know it takes about a full day to get this thing done, I know how to do it quickly now. I think I found some economies in terms of how to actually do the taping and the cutting and all that jazz. On Sunday, apparently it's gonna be raining all day, so I'll leave the second half, probably won't film it. You guys have already seen it, how to do it. But now we're gonna do the door here. First coffee inside the cabin. Let's see if this bad boy can handle it. We're at 43%. We're charging Milwaukee battery. We're running a fan. And we're going to be boiling the water. Let's see if we can do this. Oh, heck yeah. And there we have it. Boiled up. Let's go. Okay, you just saw we were just at 40%. That took it down to 1%. Boy, this thing draws 1,400 or 1,500 watts. That's an enormous amount of power, right? For a short period of time. To give you perspective, that fan draws 35 watts. So that thing is an extreme power hog. Oh boy, oh boy. Oh, heck yeah. Oh, heck yeah. Holy Pete Buttigieg. Look at that, man. That's pretty cool. So I decided to go with the simplest cabin door possible, the Z formation. I have a window coming in. Hopefully it's here soon. And it is actually a hectagon shape. It's a hectagon. Is that 8-sided? And I have the dimensions of it, but I think it's going to be much easier if I get it here and actually trace the outline of the window and then cut the frame. So it's kind of like, like a ship porthole almost. But I'm just gonna fly with the Z because I can easily take that cross member off and then, put in the window and frame it up and whatnot. But I'm gonna fly like this too to see how I like the height, because right now it's just under 6 feet, I believe, or around 6 feet. Now the gap on the top I think is about 9 inches. Originally it was only 4, but I had to take out the rest of this bottom log to make the sill sit nicely with the bottom of the floor. So this sill is slanted up, and it's also pressure treated wood because I think it's gonna get beat up. And it's also gonna get wet. I wanted to use cedar, but the local Home Depot only had cedar up to 2x6, and I needed to use 2x8s. So as you saw, I sealed the one end that I did cut with this special sealer. what is it called, cut and seal that you use on pressure treated wood. And the other nice thing about the slanting up like this is that when the door closes on it, it seals it so moisture is going to have to run up if it is trying to get in. But the more you push in the door, the more it seals against the bottom. Now, I'm going to be putting in door stops, right? Chunks of wood here and there with a rubber gasket that runs around the edges of the door stop, so that when you do push in the door, it's going to be sitting up against the door stop and up against that rubber gasket. You can see it's a pretty good tolerance, I think, right here. So at the start of next week, I'm going to put in the lock and the handle, and then try to seal up the rest of the door. Next week, also doing windows, which I'm really excited about. So with the window facing south, and I think next week we're going to cut down these trees, guys, so you can finally see out to the river and to that giant ridge line. I've been waiting so long to cut down those trees. I'm really excited for that. But yeah, the north-facing window and the south-facing window. Another thing, the reason why I put the door swinging out instead of in, because most modern homes, right, they have doors that swing in. However, my old-timey cabin building book, it suggested you put the door swinging out. One reason is wind. So in the cold winter months, when the wind is blowing against the door, it's just going to push it up against the door jamb and the sill and seal it even tighter. That old-timey cabin book also suggested doing the slanted door sill. That way, again, as the wind pushes against it, it pushes it up against the sill so that moisture and air, going to have a more difficult time going up there. And the other thing is for security. Now, if somebody really wants to break into a cabin, there are ways to do that, right? But if your door swings outward, if someone's trying to kick in your door, it's much harder to kick in a door that is going up against the door jambs this way, right? And the sill that's slanted like this. So if you're trying to kick in a door that swings out, it's much, much harder. I also got hinges that are not removable. The little pins are not removable. If you can make it as difficult as possible for any vandals. Because remember, the reason I spent all that time this week clearing out that parking pad and hiring my 2 neighbors to help me, I think in total we spent about 7 hours with their tractors clearing out that space. And I think I spent 2 days chainsawing all that out, is about security. At the end of this road, there is this American couple, their cabin got absolutely ransacked. Next week, windows, finishing the door, and then probably, hopefully, start chinking the cabin as well. Thank you so much for watching this week, you guys. See you next Saturday, 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, here on Wild Homestead. Strength and honor to all you folks out there. And remember, 4 words, 9 syllables. Ooga, ooga.